Now comes the guild. Guild means a trade body. In present time, you know about the FICCI, Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, as well as CII, and there are a number of other such trade bodies are there. So similar to that, in ancient India, particularly late ancient period and early medieval period, and even during the, in fact, entire medieval period, we had these trade bodies. These trade bodies were the people associated, traders associated to have a kind of union, so that they can present their demands with the state, with the those political dynasties in a better manner, and protect their interest and advance their interest in a better manner, right? And these guys, what they did was, they kept a small militia for their security, because they were rich guys, for preserving, for obviously self preservation. And also within that, there were, that body was fairly autonomous, including the judicial. They had judicial powers within that. Interference of the state king was not that much. They are fairly autonomous. Now read uh, these statements. Every guild was registered with the central authority of the state, and the king was the chief administrative authority. I have underlined administrative authority, and I just mentioned they were autonomous, fairly autonomous. Even they had judicial powers. So first is wrong. The wages, rules of work, standards and prices were fixed by the guild. Yes, that is a function of the association. Okay. Purpose of association, one of the purpose of association, and the guild had judicial powers of its own. I mentioned that, so 2 and 3 are correct. Hence, C is the correct option. I mentioned about this. Now, let's look at the some major famous uh, trade guilds of the late ancient early medieval period, which also became very popular in the remaining part of the medieval period. Most of them are from South India, and in fact later on these Mahajans and Seth from Gujarat, they also became popular. So trade guild, also known as Shrenis in ancient India, and as I just mentioned, that they became the channel of Indian culture's export to the other lands, like in Southeast Asia. So in medieval India, they held their meetings initially in the temple premises. Later on, they had their own offices. Guilds like the Anurvar, the 500 lords of Ayyaval, or the Swamis of Aihole, Badami, Patadkal of, in one of the videos of the culture, I mentioned about this triangle of the location places during the Chalukyas of Vatapi, Chalukyas of Badami, in present day Karnataka. So these local guilds like Nagara and Nakara were also there, and they operate since entire South India, since early medieval. I mentioned about that how they evolved from the late ancient and early medieval period. Then further more guilds came into being. Nanadesi and Manigramam for Southeast Asian trade of the guilds of Tamil Nadu. And ultimately there was agreement that it is better to have a larger guild, and they amalgamated with the Ayyavol. Anjuvanam. Now foreign traders also visited India. They stayed at port towns. Even during Sangam literature, it is mentioned that those Roman traders who came established even the temple of Augustus. So it was nothing new about it, and later on too, that this Anjuvanam guild, these traders like Muslims of traders from the Middle East, Christian and Jew traders, they all foreign traders associated themselves in Anjuvanam guild, so that they can deal with the Indian regulatory authorities better. Momorindas, they were originally mercenary troop. That originally they were the militia of the guilds, but later on they themselves involved in trading activities and formed a small guild. The Samudrapatti inscription of Madurai in Tamil Nadu mentions then a Chettai community is involved in commerce. I mentioned of the medieval period Gujarat community of Seths and Mahajans.